So time to talk sports, and Lawrence is already in the studio with the latest. Lawrence, good morning.
Good morning, Grace.
What's up today?
It's the biggest club competition in Europe. It's the Champions League, the return of the Champions League. We are back from international break, so clubs are also getting back into their shape. We saw some of the good results over the weekend. You know, the Champions League also is up next. For the Ghanaian perspective, yes, Mohamed Kudus is in action.
Okay.
And also another player who could be in action is Abdul Fattah Issahaku. Remember, he scored a winning goal against Nicaragua in the friendly last month. On the club side, yes, he could be in action for Sporting Lisbon. However, the center stage is for that man, Mohamed Kudus. He's been talking ahead of the game. He says the Champions League is one competition that as a kid you dream of playing in. Not just to play in, but also to excel and then help your team. I think that's what he has done this season. 2 Champions League games, 2 goals. It's quite interesting how he's lived up to expectation this season. We all complain about the start to the season when he wasn't getting playing time. But I think since he's come into the team, he's done well. He was rested over the weekend against Go Ahead Eagles. So that means he's in line to start for Ajax against Napoli today. One thing that makes Ajax, this game critical for Ajax is that they've won 1, they've lost 1. Napoli has won 1, and then Napoli have won 2. Liverpool have lost 1, and then won 1. So Ajax facing Napoli will mean that if they win, they give themselves at least a hope of qualifying from the group, because they are playing 2 games back to back against Napoli in the group, in that group. So if they are able to pick up favorable points, it leaves them in that position that Liverpool and then Ajax, Liverpool and then Napoli will now have to battle for the other spots to join Ajax. Mohamed Kudus, I feel, is one player that Ajax will have to take very good care of. I think playing him as a false 9, it's giving him the needed room to finish off the chances that they create. There was an issue of he not making people, the people around him play to their maximum best, because all the time they have to seek him. One thing about Ajax's style of play is that when you have that player who can handle the ball, who can move with the ball, you just have to give him that ball. If Mohamed Kudus is up front, you expect the Tadics, the big ones, to give him that space, to create for him, to finish off. And that is one thing I feel they are doing. The only thing I feel has not been to their favor is the fact that they are still learning how to play alongside him. So
alongside Kudus as the false 9.
Yes, the midfielders who want to make that run are not making it. It looks like you're a bit laid back, because Kudus is that player who will drop and then move into space. So if you've not read that thing about him, you also struggle playing alongside him. So another game that will be interesting in the Champions League.
But what's the position of Ajax on the table?
In the table, they are second at the moment.
Second, okay.
Yeah. Another match that will be interesting is Inter versus Barcelona.
That should be a cracker then.
Anytime I hear that fixture, you know, only one thing comes to mind. 2010 when
Jose Mourinho coaching Inter Milan versus Barcelona.
So this fixture is one that interests me a lot, because it gives you that vibe. Probably I was new to football, not that new, but then I was still beginning to understand my way through football. And then the kind of fashion Mourinho was on the touchlines, it always gives me that vibe.
Yes.
Their fight, Inter has not been great this season. They are struggling in the Serie A.
I'm told even people are now chastising Lukaku.
Lukaku has not played for some games now. I think he's out due to injury. But then the man they brought in the dugout to replace Antonio Conte, which is Inzaghi. Inzaghi has not lived up to expectation at Inter Milan. You look at Inzaghi handling Lazio as a team, and then he did quite well with it. It's just like that saying that you can handle the pressure at some teams, but then not all teams are meant for.
No, how many months has he spent at Inter Milan?
You know, I won't dispute that, but there are some clubs that demand results the very moment you get there.
Okay.
If you fail to deliver, you are gone. Inter is one of those clubs. So I think this game will be very critical for Inzaghi.
Okay.
If he's unable to pick up results, that means his future at the club could look shaky, and then he could be gone even before we break for the World Cup.
It will be an interesting game, really. I mean, going back to that finals, I think Barca was, and Xavi was part of that team. That was
yes, that was.
you know, by Mourinho's team.
Yes.
Mourinho had Eto'o, who had been ditched by Barcelona the previous season. Mourinho took him, and then
they fine-tuned him.
Yeah,
and they also had that striker, Diego Milito.
Yes.
That guy was just deadly. Yeah,
Sure.
so I think this game...
So maybe Xavi would want to go seek a revenge of what they did. So let's see how...
For those who want to follow that game, yes, there's commentary on Joy 99.7.
Okay.
For this game.
All right. So these are 2 games. What are the other matches we have in today? Okay. The other fixtures we do have.
I think Liverpool are playing Rangers. And then there's Sporting Lisbon in action. As I've mentioned earlier, Ajax are playing Napoli.
Right.
There's Club Brugge playing Atletico Madrid. Porto against Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern, Victoria Pleasant. Marseille, Sporting Lisbon, and Frankfurt, Tottenham.
Okay, interesting games there. And that's your sports for today. And that's how we wrap up the bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Do enjoy the rest of our shows. Have a good morning.